do you go from being a beginner to an advanced beekeeper? The term advanced can scare a lot of people off. Sorry to use that term. I don't mean it in a way that seems unachievable. I can't think of a better word. But what I'm talking about with an advanced beekeeper is somebody that is beyond beginner and maybe even beyond the intermediate, someone that can really handle a hive and go through it pretty easily and assess it. So let me talk to you about what I mean. To summarize it, last week we talked about how a beehive, that you're not inspecting a hive, you're reading the whole story. So your beehive inspection is not a task, but it's an act of interpretation. You're interpreting what you see. You're not really reading the frames, you're reading the entire hives. That's what we mentioned last week. And I mentioned how some people get stuck at a beginner's level, which is what I call the descriptive beekeeper, where you're only able to describe what you're seeing. And that's what everybody is at a beginner's level. When you start something, you can describe it. You learn to describe it. Just like when you learn to drive a car, somebody teaches you, this is the steering wheel, this is the brake pedal, this is the gas pedal, this is your turn signal. You know what I mean? You learn the basics of car driving like that, and then you get to go out on the road and risk your life driving in traffic. But at first, you have to learn to describe your things before they trust you to go out and drive. Similar in beekeeping as well. And then we jump up to what I want all of us to be at, is the interpretive beekeeper. So an interpretive beekeeper, they can not only identify what they're seeing, but they can understand, why they're seeing it. So if you're analyzing and identifying why it looks that way, then you've reached what I would say the intermediate level of beekeeping. You're beyond the beginner. Beginner just means that you can, understand this is the beehive, these are the bees. And I can identify a few things. You advance forward now into the interpretive beekeeper, where now you begin to say, okay, I kind of understand why this is happening. And then the next step, there's a third one, the gosh, I can't even pronounce that one. The integrative beekeeper. Doesn't like I said that right either. You can identify things, you can say what it is, and you can interpret it. But now we have to be able to take a course of action. We have to, integrate it and get to a place where we can really understand what to do next. So we have to make a correct evaluation. We have to start taking a correct plan of action. So we really move forward as an integrative beekeeper. So let me explain it in this graph here. Do you see we start at the bottom? We start to describe it by observation, and then we begin to interpret it through our understanding of beekeeping. We learn more about biology, and then we begin to take action on what we observe and what we understand. The top level is the most important, but it's the most probably missing ingredient of beekeeping. Anyone can, jump through the hoops of describing things by looking at pictures, going to a YouTube video, studying a book. Oh, that's what a frame of honey looks like. Oh, that's what a queen looks like. Okay, got it. Oh, this is what a queen does, right? You interpret it. And then, but this next level of being able to say, I need to evaluate my queen and take action based on the evaluation. That's the advanced level of beekeeping. So let me walk you through this. Let's keep going, okay? So let's take an example. I love to learn by examples. So let's say that you open up your hive and you see low brood and, not a lot of brood. And that happens to a lot of us, doesn't it? Well, in the beginning stage, you just simply say, I don't think I see the amount of brood that I should. Or maybe you have two hives and one of them, has less brood than the other hive does. And then you get to a level where you say, okay, I not only notice it, but now you begin to understand it. You say something to yourself when you're doing an inspection. The queen, she's a new queen. I was queenless for a while because I had swarm cells. This is an example. And now the new queen just got back from a mating flight a week ago. Now she's starting to lay. So that's why I'm seeing a low amount of brood. And if you're in the intermediate stage, you might just stay there. You might not take that the next approach. So there's still more to do, and advanced beekeepers know this. So now a more advanced beekeeper is going to say, wait a minute, if this new queen has just started laying and I don't have any eggs, larvae, or pupae because she's been gone that long, I'm broodless, and now I've got to wait another 21 days. Even if she starts laying today, I have to wait 21 days before the first bee emerges. So I won't even have nurse bees until about 26 days, roughly a month, 30 days. So an advanced beekeeper sees that as very problematic, okay? Because now there's such a gap. So an advanced beekeeper realizes we need to take even more action to this. So you got to look at it and say, okay, now what can I do? I need to add a frame of brood to this hive because they're missing such a vital part of their population because of being queenless for so long. They can even have laying workers, So here we go. What would you do? What would you do if you were in this scenario? There's no eggs, larvae, or pupae. The queen just started laying, but there's a big gap. It's going to be about a month before you have workers that will replace the ones that are in there now. Best thing to do, grab a frame from another hive if you have it, and that's important to move a frame of brood over to this hive to help them. All right, so let's go a step further. Let's say you see queen cups and it's caused by congestion. A beginner would say, oh, look, I see queen cups. My hive's really crowded. It's a spring and they're going to swarm. So the intermediate beekeeper would say, okay, I know what that means. It means they're going to swarm. This is what's happening. My hive's going to swarm. But the advanced beekeeper is going to say, oh, I need to go a step further and take action. You have to take your observation. You have to take your understanding. And the third element is you have to take action. And the action you're going to take can be a lot of things. And the more experience you have, the more knowledge you develop over beekeeping years, the more you're going to be able to say, okay, I understand what I need to do now. I need to make a split before they swarm, maybe split with the old queen, take her over with 4 frames. That'll prevent them from swarming because they can't swarm with the old queen gone. They're queenless. They have to raise another queen. You use techniques like that to advance. Let's say you see you're queenless, and I want to go a little deeper into this one. I mentioned it briefly, but let's say you see that you're queenless and you have emergency cells and you have no brood, and you understand that after about 21 days of no brood and a queen, you have some laying workers that are going to take over. These are female workers that normally would not lay any eggs because you think they can't, but they can, they do. But they're going to start laying eggs because there's no pheromone from the queen or the brood to suppress them, to hold them from laying. So if you've been queenless this long, you could have laying workers. So again, you're going to introduce a frame to get them to raise a queen, maybe a frame of eggs or something, but you need to introduce some brood to help them get the workforce they need. This is kind of critical here because as you take action, there's a sense of urgency. So what you're going to do is either combine this hive with another hive, or you're going to move over a frame of capped over brood. Would it be capped over brood? It can be. So in this scenario, you want capped over brood because you need workers right away. You've been queenless for a while, but it wouldn't hurt to move over a frame of open brood. And what the open brood does, it really provides pheromones that will cause your workers to stop laying. Now, the capped over brood will too, but the open brood really does too. So it's a safeguard. You almost need to give them a 1-2 punch on this scenario. Now, that's why it's important to realize a lot of people ask, hey, I've got 2 hives. One hive is not doing really well. I need to move a frame of brood over. And in that case, when you move a frame of brood over just to shore up, to boost up another colony, it always needs to be capped over brood. These are the actions that you take as a more advanced beekeeper, because you understand bee biology. You don't want a hive that's weak and already low in numbers to have to start feeding and taking care of open larvae, because that they require so much food to be fed by royal jelly from nurse bees. But if you give this struggling colony a frame of capped over pupae, then that capped over pupae is it doesn't need anything. It doesn't need to be fed. At the most, it just needs to be kept warm at 92 degrees. So this is a way that these bees are going to emerge from the new frame you gave them. 5,000 to 7,000 new bees, almost the size of a package. You're giving a boost to a weak colony by moving one deep frame over of capped brood. Make sure it's capped. You don't want to increase the liability of what the workers have to do in the weak colony. Make sure it's capped. These bees emerge 6 days. They're nurse bees, and away they go. So these are the techniques we're using. But let's go through a few more examples. Let's say you're opening a hive up and you see light frames and dry comb, and you understand, oh, this means there's been a stop in the nectar flow. I don't see the bees coming in with any nectar. I see the time of the year that it is. So a beginner sees it. Oh, I don't have a lot of resources. But now the interpretive beekeeper says, oh, I understand what it's caused from. We're not having a very good flow right now. But now you integrate the knowledge of, oh, it's seasonal. This is all about seasonal timing. And so, as an advanced beekeeper now, oh, I need to take action. So I want you to really get these 3, okay? This is fun. Once you understand this, you can start applying this to everything. The beginner sees it. The intermediate beekeeper begins to understand it, but the more advanced beekeeper begins to integrate precision action steps that are good. So you add syrup or pollen supplement because there's not a flow going on. This is what I do in the fall. This is the very thing that drives my bees to make bees of winter physiology. I'm in the dearth. I see the nectar flow stopped around October 1st. I understand what's going on. It's not in my comb anymore. It's not coming in the door anymore. I integrate action and I begin to feed my bees. Let's do some more, okay? Let's think about this. The advanced integrative beekeeper identifies and observes, and then you consider all the interpretations. What could this mean? And after you go through all the possible interpretations, then you consider the timeline of your honeybees. That means, what season is it? That's really important because bees behave differently in every single season. So you start thinking, okay, what season is it? And what happens? Is it normal? Maybe I don't need to do anything because that's what bees do this time of the year. But you consider the timeline of honeybee biology. You add in the time of year, the seasons. You evaluate your goal for that hive. This is important too, because if you want to use this hive to make you a lot of honey, you're going to treat that hive differently than if you want that hive to make you a lot of brood, or you want to split it. You see, you're going to treat the hive differently based on the goal of the goal that you have for that specific hive. And that's important to realize too. And then as an advanced beekeeper, you're going to go ahead and choose a course of well-timed action. And that's where sometimes beginners get stuck. They can identify, they can sometimes even know why it's happening, but they don't know the next best course of action. And so that's important. So when the hive presents something, every time you open a hive, the hive makes a presentation. Think of that. It does. There's never a time that you open up a hive and there's not something to observe. It's always going to present something. Beginners always see. And intermediate beekeepers see and understand, but the advanced beekeeper, they act perfectly with precision and very well timed out actions. Okay. So in other words, they go beyond seeing it, they go beyond understanding it. And now every time an advanced beekeeper sees and understands a hive, they always take action. Very rarely do I ever open up a hive that I don't take action on. Okay. Let me explain. I can open up a hive and go, okay, I see small hive beetles. I need to take action and trap beetles. I need to stop the growth of beetles. Oh, maybe I see a varroa mite. Oh, I see a varroa mite. I need to take a sample, see what my test alcohol wash says. What is my mite level? I may open up a hive and go, I don't see as many resources in here that I should be seeing. I need to take action. Very rarely do I open up a hive and not see something that needs to be acted upon. So it's all about administering the action with precise timing. So here's the deal. Remember, we're wanting to move. We're wanting to advance from a beginner level to an intermediate beekeeper to more of an advanced beekeeper. So this means beginners know why. Well, they know what, but we need to know why before the what so we can act. In other words, you open up a hive and you identify it, and then you say, aha, this is why it's happening. And then you say, aha, this is the action that I need to take. Now, I mentioned last week, beekeeping classes don't go into this depth sometimes. I don't see people speaking of this, and that's why I think a lot of beekeepers get left without understanding how to drive the car in heavy traffic. They can identify the car, they can drive it down a country road, but they don't know what to do when a bunch of stuff happens. Okay, same way with beekeeping. Descriptive beekeeping, we learn to identify, which is normal, but very rarely is vaguely ever taught to interpret, and it's rarely taught in beekeeping classes or courses what you should do in a bad scenario. Now, this is not the case in most other industries with surgeons, with airline pilots. Let's take airline pilots. Airline pilots have to be in the simulator quite often, even after they've been flying a lot. And they are presented in the simulator these scenarios of the engine that flames out, or a scenario where something happens, and what are you going to do if this happens? Fortunately, they don't practice with all of us sitting behind in the back of the plane. They practice in simulators, but they don't just practice once. They have to practice this over and over on a yearly basis. They go through all these bad scenarios that happen. So they're trained for it, they're taught, and they have to respond. And it happens more than we want that they do a great job recovering from these things that happen on the airplane. That's what beekeepers need to learn. That beekeepers aren't taught that. What specifically do you do when this happens? Airline pilots have a sheet, a paper, a book, and both the safety administration and their company has protocols for them to follow if this happens. I think it would be great if beekeepers had that. I'm working on that. I'm working to develop this so that beekeepers can essentially pull a sheet up and say, this is my scenario. This is what I'm supposed to do. It is more challenging because it's always different based on the season, how many bees you have, what the goal of your hive is, all of that. So it's more challenging to teach and to learn these interpretive skills and these ability to take action. So remember, write these down. This is really important when you're solving a problem in your beehive. Now, a lot of times, those of you that are starting in the spring, congratulations. I'm glad you're starting this year. But remember, we think, and we're kind of led astray down this road of thinking that beekeeping is easy. You don't have any problems. Bees know what to do. Bees can handle all the things that nature throws at them. they can get rid of mites themselves. They can get enough food themselves. They can avoid all these things. And that's just not the case. We wish that was it, but we don't live in a perfect world, okay? So when you have problems in the spring, we're going to have to say, what do I see? What is this? Then you have to say, what caused it? And then you have to say, can I solve it? Or is the hive doomed? In the case of American foul brood, if I ever get that, I can't solve that. There's no solution except I'm required, in many states, you're required to burn it. But most of the time, shy of American foul brood, we can solve it. And then how do I prevent it from happening next time? I think that's the key. How do I fix it? How do I prevent it? Preventative is a much better way to do it. Now, last week I mentioned the 10-day waiting period. I love to teach this. Wait 10 days, because when you wait 10 days, you can develop your plan of action as an advanced beekeeper. You're going to sit down and say, I need to take action. I've got 10 days to come up with a plan. Or you wait 10 days to collect more data to help you make a better decision. Or in 10 days, the hive naturally corrects itself, which happens 90% of the time. And then lastly, you're assured that in 10 days, the colony will be different. Something will be different. Your bees will be older. Your pupae have emerged. Your larvae have been capped over, such like more eggs, whatever. And that's going to happen. All right, let's go through another example. This will be fun, okay? Now, I took a picture of this frame just a few minutes before going live. And do you see something here that looks a little bit unusual? The picture doesn't do it justice. And I don't want to go get it, but I think in real life, with my real eyes, it is very noticeable that this has a coating of a white substance on the outer edges of this comb. Now, this is capped over honey here, and that maybe you can tell that is white. It's a whiteness, okay, on that comb. It's not that uncommon to see this when you store frames, okay? You know what it is? Well, you were close. This is a word for the live stream, by the way. It's wax efflorescence. Efflorescence. It is a wax happening. It's called wax bloom. Maybe some of you know what is wax bloom. It is a white powdery film that develops on beeswax when the natural components in the wax rise and they crystallize on the surface, sort of like the fatty acids coming up there. And it happens quite frequently if you store your frames. And this is what it's called. That's a new word. We have a website on our website, honeybeesonline.com. If you click on live, that tells you the upcoming live stream information. But on that page, it also gives you every word we've talked about in the past. So some of you that love these words, you're loving scientific words, you can go to our live webpage and look at it, and you can look at these words. Go to honeybeesonline.com. At the top, click on live, and then click on words of past live streams. So this is one that is about the wax bloom. But let's go about this wax bloom just for a minute before we get off the teaching. The beginner can describe it. People will say, hello, David. I'm new to beekeeping, and I've got some comb from a hive that died out last year, and I've had it stored. And now there's some kind of white mold all over my frame. Should I burn this? Should I throw it out? Or some people tell me, I saw the white mold and I threw it out. Well, it's not white mold. So that's the beginner who describes things. And now the interpretive beekeeper begins to interpret. They say, this isn't mold, but it's wax bloom. I've heard about it. I've seen people talk about it, but I don't know what to do about it. I don't know whether it's safe to use again. Will it hurt the bees? Is my comb bad? What's going to happen? But as you advance to the next step, then you take action, because you have experience, or you watch this live stream and you know that it's not mold, it's wax bloom, it's harmless. These fatty acids kind of just ran to the surface because the wax was in a cool place. And the way you can prevent it in the future, try to keep this comb in not such a cool place. Keep it in a little warmer place, and it's more likely that it would keep that from happening in the future. So this is like how we're describing these 3 growth steps of becoming a better beekeeper. You go from describing things, you go from interpreting what you see, and then you go to taking action based on all of those things. Taking the action is what stumps so many beekeepers. And to be honest with you, that's a really big reason that we have so many bees dying when we come out of winter and they say, oh, new report, 50% of bees died. Now, I'm just going to talk about that a minute. Robbie, can you take me to full screen there? I'm done with this teaching. Appreciate it. So when we talk about the bees that died, last year we had different organizations tell us that why bees died. And so they mentioned that there was, I think one of the causes, especially among commercial beekeepers, was the Amitrez had a more, mites were getting resistance to Amitrez that a lot of commercial beekeepers use. And that's the smoking gun kind of was pointed that direction. Now, it did not explain hobbyists who had less bees dying. They were in the 50% range. Commercials were in the 60 to 70% range. But a lot of backyard beekeepers aren't using Amitrez heavily. Not the ones that I talk to. Some do, but a lot don't. A lot of them use, I think, like a vaporizer, acylic acid. A lot of them use Formic Pro. You see, there's a lot of actions like that mode of actions that different hobbyists will use. So it doesn't really describe why are so many bees dying amongst hobby beekeepers when they're doing these things. I think it comes down again to not all of it. Certainly bees have a lot of challenges. I give you that. A lot of it comes down to the beekeeper not knowing exactly how to handle scenarios that come up, or new beekeepers don't even see a scenario that comes up. I've got a future teaching on this, that some beekeepers are unable to even identify a problem that's going to get worse and worse and worse. And so as beekeepers, this is I think what we can do to help bees survive more is to understand bee biology, understand how to take action once we start to see the slightest variation of a healthy colony and take action on that, not just try to wait it out. I think that's real important. All right, another great teaching tonight. Thank you guys for being here for the teaching. We got a great crowd tonight, so thank you so much. And you learned a new word tonight too. Hey, I want to tell you, I'm going to be speaking in Wisconsin coming up in February at the largest Midwest Honeybee Expo. It's on February the 6th and 7th. Actually, there's going to be a lot more speakers than just me and Dr. Peck. Yeah, there you go. I think everybody that you know on YouTube is going to be there. Everybody. It's amazing. Everybody that has a podcast is going to be there. They're bringing in everybody from everywhere to speak at this conference. I'm not kidding. Check it out. And go online, MidwestHoneybeeExpo.com. And I want you to be there. Last week, we gave away a ticket. We gave away a free ticket, and we had a winner. His name is right here. Fola, you did not claim your ticket. We're going to give you one more chance if you'll claim that ticket. Otherwise, we're going to have to give it away to somebody else, okay? So giving you a fair warning. Give you a couple of days to please write us and email us. And if you email us, we'll be able to get you that ticket. So don't forget, you need to email us at beaksquadwinner@gmail.com. So do that, Fola. We want you to get what you want, okay? All right, we're going to have a giveaway right now I've got 2 giveaways. We're going to give away one, and then we'll have times for your question and answer. So the giveaway tonight, one of them is going to be, since it's Christmas time, look at this, a Christmas ornament that Sherry so beautifully had made. It is made out of, let's see, microphone. Made out of a hard porcelain or acrylic, something hard. Look at that. And you can hang it. We've autographed this. And hashtag ornament in the comments. Only put your name in there one time, please. But this is a nice little Christmas ornament of a guy that's got his Christmas tree in the back of that beautiful red truck. And then he's making sure his top cover is securely on for this new cold weather that's coming in. So yeah, if you want to win this to hang on your Christmas tree this year, just go ahead and put that in the comments in the chat, #ornament, and you will send this out to you. Now you do need to claim these pretty quickly. So if you can email us within a day or two after you win, we'll get that sent out to you. All right. We have one more giveaway planned, so stay tuned for that. I was supposed to put my Christmas hat on for the Christmas giveaway. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. It goes well with the glasses, doesn't it? So there we go. We're going to have a giveaway, Christmas giveaway. Woohoo. Merry Christmas, everybody. 2025. There you go. So #ornament. Leave that in the comment. Hey, I appreciate seeing you guys. So many of you commenting and enjoying yourself in the chat tonight. And I hope you are having a good evening. And let's go ahead and collect these names in the chat that want to win the Christmas ornament, #ornament. Hurry up and get those in there. And we'll start taking your questions. All right, Robbie, you ready to do it? Everybody's pretty quick. They're already got their names in there, I bet. All right, who's going to win the ornament tonight? Let's see. All right, look at all those names going by. Yeah, good to see you guys tonight. I can't always read the chat because I've got so many things to look at. Oh, Kim Dunley, you're the winner of the Christmas ornament. Hey, Kim, be sure and email us at beaksquadwinner@gmail.com as soon as you can after this broadcast, within a day or two, and we'll get this sent out to you, Kim. Congratulations. Appreciate you guys. And we are going to get more of these available next year. So we had a few of these available online, and so many of you grabbed those up. So that was great. I want to take this hat off because it's hot wearing a hat. All right, let's take some questions that you guys may have for me tonight. All right. Hey, David, Central Wisconsin, Beak Squad member. Any of you that are part of the live stream, you don't have to pay. There's nothing you give or anything. You just show up here and we call you the Beak Squad. So that's what it means behind me. Beak is the name of my YouTube handle that YouTube made me get. And you're the squad, Beak Squad. Have any of you heard about snow disorienting bees when they take a cleansing flight, so they may not make it back to the hive? I don't think that really rings true because they don't seem to fly very far. And, you know, bees, sometimes we say bees don't fly well in the rain because they don't, but they still do. I've seen bees get all wet and still make it back to the hive and everything. I don't think bees are going to be flying in a heavy snow anyway, but it could be disorienting. I think if it's hard for me to drive in the snow, so it's probably hard to fly in the snow. Let's hope they don't do that. Hey, David, who was your biggest influence for becoming successful in beekeeping? Oh, that is a very good question. And my biggest influence for becoming successful in beekeeping? Okay, got it. Ready? It was my wife. It was Sherry. She was my biggest cheerleader. When I was trying to learn beekeeping, I was kind of self-taught. She was willing for me to keep dumping money and covering up my horrible mistakes with more money. So, and she cheered me on to learn and learn and learn. Probably the best other people that were big influences on me, I would say Dr. John Zavishlock. We've been friends since 2009, and he has really helped me over the years as well to gain so much scientific information. So just a lot of other people as well, though. It's amazing. Good question. I like those. What's your opinion of the Sassafras bees? I had a great prior season with Sassafras bees and colony, but my bee supply company is no longer carrying them due to a lack of demand. You know what? The only thing I can say about them is that you need to buy one and run it and see for yourself, does it keep up to the claims? And then, you know, I don't think none of us can make a constantly identical queen like assembly line, because they're mated or instrumentally inseminated, and that instrumental insemination, the sperm from different drones is going to be different. It's haploid diploid genetics, sex determination genetics. So you're never going to get two queens that are identical. So you're never going to get the same results. That's just the hard facts of beekeeping. That's probably why a lot of people aren't pursuing a lot of these queens that promise the moon. It's because when you get them, you don't get the moon like you thought you would. Some help and some improve, but that's about as much as I'm going to say about that. You're almost better to get a good quality. You're better to get skilled at raising your own queens and raise queens from successful hives on your property. In my opinion, that wins every time. It really does. Can I stack 2 candy boards to extend time between changes and increase condensation absorption? No, you can't, because each candy board only has candy on one side, insulation on the other. So bees can only access the exposed candy that's put on the hive. They won't be able to get the other candy if you stack them. Should I clean the entire bottom board in the winter or just reduce the entrance? Clean the entire bottom board in the winter or just reduce the entrance? Well, that Cindy, that is I'm not sure if I understand your question, but here's the deal. By reducing the entrance, it may limit how well your bees can drag out the dead bees on the warmer winter days. So I recommend, as I made in my video a couple of days ago, I've got a little board I slide out, and all the dead bees that die of natural causes during the winter, and that's a lot of them that die. You can pour those out and push that board back in, or use a little scraper to scrape them out. It has nothing to do with the entrance so much as it may hinder them from dragging dead bees out. Hey, Scott from South Louisiana. If the weather's still warm, is there a time to stop feeding pollen powder? Scott, that's really up to you to decide. I think you would just look at your hive and look inside, see what kind of store of pollen they have. Are they raising a lot of brood? Do they still need that pollen? Make decisions based on what the bees are telling you and showing you. Yep. It's not about timing. It's what the bees are doing. Hey, Wayne, looking forward to meeting you at the expo in Madison. Our local Madison-based bee club will have a booth. Is that Dane County Beekeepers Association? Thank you for all you do. Well, thank you for your donation tonight, Wayne. I'll be sure and look by your booth when I get there. Looking forward to it. And I think several of us will be there. I'm hoping Sherry will come, and I think Patrick might be there. Kareem may be there as well. So that'd be fun. Yeah. Thank you for your gift tonight for the live stream, and all of you for making donations to the live stream. Appreciate that. By the way, when Sherry and I were at the Indiana meeting last Monday, that was a rare sighting of Sherry. Sherry doesn't often go to meetings or conferences with me. And if you wonder why, it's because we do bee stuff. We run a bee business. We work with customers. We work with education content. We create educational things from sunup to sundown. We really do. And so for Sherry to go and spend the weekend doing what she does all the time, it's probably not as enjoyable. She'd probably rather read a book or something, but she loves you guys and she will go to conferences, but it's not something that she does a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of things to do at home, and sometimes I'm gone for 5 days at a time. Merry Christmas. Hi, Ginger. Question for David. Thoughts on using Ultra Bee in outside feeders? If it's warm enough for bees to fly, is there dysentery risk in the hive? I don't think so. Ultra Bee is a protein powder substitute. And so, no, I don't think it's going to really be a problem. I think bees are pretty sharp. However, I never like to feed bees anything, liquidy or pollen like that, unless I know they can defecate within the next few days. The Winter Be Kind boards are a little different because it's a little bit harder candy and it's not a lot of pollen and not a lot of, got a protein in it, but not a ton like you would see just by dumping out that on a board. So I would probably be okay with it, but yeah, that it may be a problem if they eat too much and then it turns real cold and keeps them in there too long. Oh, second winter beekeeper, have lost 2 out of 4 hives. but lost those 2 hives to yellow jackets. How can I prevent this? Boy, that is a really tough one. And some of you are, the problem is we're trying to kill yellow jackets. And with these yellow jacket traps, you run the risk of trapping or catching bees in those traps. So you have to build yellow jacket traps that don't kill honeybees. It's really a tough go at it. Hey, Sunshine, it was good seeing you and Chris at the Indiana meeting. Thank you for your donation tonight. So yellow jacket, maybe some of you have a better way to deal with yellow jackets than I do, but I'm sorry to hear that. I've heard many people, especially in the South, their hives can get overrun with yellow jackets. Hey, Wayne, nice to see you again. Yeah, I saw Wayne in Texas. I took a picture of you, Wayne, and I need to post it here. Good to see you. Thanks for your gift tonight. Hey, Rich, I plan on moving from Illinois to Tennessee. Well, I did the opposite. I moved from Tennessee to Illinois. Looking for any recommendations you could give me. You're going to move your bees? Move them? Yeah. Are you going to do it in the winter? Oh, this September. Okay, that's a good time to move. Prepare for disaster. So take all your bee suits, smoker fuel, everything. Prepare in case something happens bad and bees get out. But then you want to put them in there the night, or make sure they're all in there the night before. You want to strap it down, put some 1/8 inch hardware cloth in the opening, secure it with a tie down strap so it can't come apart, the bottom board all the way across the top. Move at night when it's not as hot. It can still be hot in September. So hopefully you can transport those in the evening and get down to Tennessee. You know, it's only an 8-hour trip, but you can get down there and hopefully get them out before it gets hot again or warmer. I've done that a lot. David, how can you tell from the front door when they're bringing in nectar? How can you see the pollen they bring in? But you can see the pollen they bring in, but how can you see them bring in nectar? Oh, okay. Yeah, there's no way to see them bringing in nectar. It's stored in their honey crop, the first part of their abdomen. You're not going to be able to tell. Yeah, no way. You can pick a bee up and you don't know whether their abdomen or their honey crop is full or empty. Can't really tell. I would say if the honeybees are coming back and it's not a very hot day and they're coming back without any pollen, guaranteed they're full of nectar. They just don't go out there and come back empty-handed, rarely. Love the 10-day piece of advice. Are there any situations in which you would not wait and act that long? Yeah, absolutely. If I know something is a problem right now, like if I open up a hive up and I see, oh my goodness, a lot of small hive beetle, yikes. I'm not going to wait 10 days to put a trap in there. Going to get the old frame traps. I'm going to put those in there. I'll take action immediately. If I happen to notice, I break open the little space between the frames where they put sometimes drone brood in that little gap, and I see a whole bunch of mites on the capped over pupae of drones, I'm not waiting. I'm treating. May take a sample, but I may just go ahead and treat those. I won't wait 10 days. So yeah, when you see a big problem, if you get a flat tire, don't wait 10 days. So it's kind of like that. You just know that this can't wait. Yeah, good question. I thought about that when I was teaching too. I'm glad you asked that question. In the spring, if you shave or grind up some beeswax and put it on the inner cover, will the bees use it for comb building? There have been studies shown that bees have used comb or wax like this when it's placed in the hive in odd places. I can't refute what science says. However, it doesn't seem like that is what bees love to do. They love to create wax and then build it into comb. But it's not to say they won't do what you just described. Bees can do what they want, can't they? I got to watch my time for our second giveaway coming up. We got time. Hey, Danny, we've had unusually cold start to December in Indiana. Me too. I'm probably in the same boat you're in. Oh, coldest since 1895. Don't doubt that a bit. I don't doubt it. It's really been the hardest cold snap on my bees prior to winter that I've ever seen. I put on my ONLINE Be Kind boards. I packed them I peeked at them when it got to 42, and I have tens of thousands of bees in there. Happy guy. Yeah. Okay, Danny, here's the thing. Your bees are going to get real used to that food up there, and they're going to really consume it fast. Don't let them down. Okay. If you got a big hive and they're consuming this food, they're going to start raising some bees, and they're going to need to be kept being fed. So keep that winter bee kind, keep an eye on it every week. And when it starts to get too low, refill it, put a new one on there. You got to keep them well fed. That makes them warmer too. Everybody gets warm when you eat and you're active. That's good to hear. One more, and then we'll have another giveaway, and then we'll have more questions. David, what are the losses for hobbyists compared to commercial beekeepers? Last year, roughly, I don't know the exact number, but it was about 50% for hobbyists and high 60s for commercial beekeepers. About that. So a little higher in the commercial world. All right, let's have a giveaway. And speaking of winter bee kinds, I don't have one on me. We're going to give away a winter bee kind. The winter bee kind is a feeding system. I call it a system, but it includes a insulation on the top. That includes a slight little gap for the bees to take potty breaks when they eat, and it provides about 4 pounds of nutrients that are placed above the hive. And if you've never heard of this or never seen it, you can watch my videos, because I have 10 or 15 years of videos showing you what bees do when they eat this. Okay. You don't have to take anybody's word for it. You don't have to listen to a bee club tell you that they're great or not great. You just watch my videos. Just go out there or just type in David Burns winter feed. Watch what my bees do. Watch how they come out of spring. And you decide if you want to use it or not. And anyway, we're going to give one of these away. I'm glad that I created this. It's revolutionized my beekeeping endeavors here. But if you'll type in WBK in the comments, you will have a chance to win a winter bee kind. Need to live in the 48 states for us to ship that to you. So be sure and keep that in mind too. Winter bee kind, WBK is what you're going to put, hashtag WBK, and then you can try your chance at winning a winter bee kind. Even if you've already bought one, you're probably going to need another one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was in Texas speaking, and I was telling them that sometimes that some of my hives will consume one of these per week in the wintertime. That is crazy. And they get so big and they grow. I have more bees in the wintertime any other time of the year. And I just love that. I love having, the more bees you have, that's how they make heat, by sheer volume of bodies. If you don't believe me, go out to your hive, remove all the bees except one, and see if that one bee will make it through a cold night. It won't. So you need the more bees, the colder it gets, you need more bees. That's all it is to it. All right. So leave a comment, hashtag WBK, no advantage to entering your name in more than once. Appreciate you guys in the comments. And it's such a great family and a community here that we have on our live stream. So be sure and tell your friends and other beekeeper clubs, tell them about the live stream every Thursday night, and have them join us too. All right. Let's see what we have, Robbie, as far as the winner for the WBK tonight. Ship that winter bee kind board out to you. I see on the comments that many of you have received your winter bee kind boards. Thanks for your business. Appreciate that. Looks like there's a lot of you that would love to get this. All right. Here we go. Look at the names going by. See if you can win the winter bee kind tonight. Good luck, everybody. Who's the winner? Old MMCS. You're the winner tonight. So be sure and email us at beaksquadwinner@gmail.com. Let us know your shipping address and all. We'll get that shipped out to you as soon as possible. We have a lot of giveaways every week like this, and we appreciate you guys for being involved in the giveaways. And it's a way for us to give back to the community as well on our live stream. We like doing that as well. And I want to thank you guys for the donations, by the way. I'm going to answer more of your questions, but you guys are so great to make donations to the live stream. You may be wondering what the money goes to. We use this money to actually part of our giveaway to help support the giveaways that we have. And when we have guest speakers, we always pay our guest speakers to be here and speak for us, which we've got a couple of planned for early part of next year as well. So we like to do that. And it helps us to take good care of those that help us on the live stream too. So we appreciate any donation that you make. It does take a little bit of money to make this happen, as you can more or less understand. So thank you for donating. All right, let's hit some more question times tonight. Hey, Danny, Thanks for being a member of my YouTube channel for 6 months. I appreciate that. When I eventually change out to a new winter bee kind board from one that has been consumed, any chances that brushing the bees back into the hive? Any challenges? Yeah, it's always challenging. The best thing that I do is I like to smoke them. And as you smoke them, they'll settle back down and get into the bottom of the hive. You're going to have some that get flighty. That's just what bees do. Yeah. Don't worry about that. All right. Hey, Rita, when it comes to your honeybee kind board, it's actually a winter bee kind board. What is the consistency of the candy? Is it firm or more taffy-like? It's neither, actually, because of the contents of it. It has a liquidy state to it. When it appears hard, a little bit wet, but when you place it on the hive, the warmth of the hive and the moisture from the hive actually makes it get more where the bees can consume it, more liquidy. Not really liquid, but it gets wet and the bees can consume it. So yeah, it's not like making, taffy. It's not like making peanut brittle. It's somewhere special in the way that the contents allow it for the bees to consume it. Thank you for your super sticker there, Sam. Appreciate that. Hey, Sydney, South Dakota. I think it's been windy and cold there too, hasn't it? Hives have the winter bee kinds on board. On hives, 1.5 inches of foam board on sides. Top has 2 layers of foam board. That's wise. Both entrances open, double deep. With cold weather, can I close the lower entrances? Yeah, I wouldn't close them completely. I like some air to be coming in there. I would put it into a small setting, leave at least an inch or 2 of a gap. That'd be a big help. Hey, Justin, good to see you tonight. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your donation tonight, too. Appreciate it. All right, we got a couple of more questions we can squeeze in here at the end. Ooh, I caught a swarm the end of November in South Carolina. You guys stay warmer over there, don't you? They don't have any comb, and this is my first time keeping bees. If I feed them all winter, will they have a chance of making it till the spring? Ooh, without comb, they can't reproduce. They can't make any new bees. They have to have comb to make bees. So you have no choice. I would try it, but the odds are not in your favor, I don't think, without comb. But certainly give it a try. Absolutely. Hello, David. Would there be any drawbacks to using double reflective insulation radiant barrier as a wrap to protect against wind and provide insulation? A lot of people love that double reflective insulation. A lot of people have good reports. They love it. It's easy to handle. And, I don't think it has a tremendous R value, but it can't hurt. It's certainly a good windbreak. And if your hives are kind of drafty or something, it would help seal up any big gaps between boxes or something. Yeah. A lot of people love that. All right. Advice for moving a few hives this winter in Washington State, and we should have snow. Oh, moving in the winter isn't a bad time to move them at all. Now, what you're going to run into is there's a chance that you can jerk them and break the cluster. And then you have to consider, will they recluster? That's the only thing that I can think of that's a little bit more risky in the wintertime. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about foragers or anything. But sometimes by jarring the hive too much, they can break cluster. Now, the colony should be able to regain cluster. I think they will, but you never know. That's the only thing. I just want to put that out there so you can think about that. Yeah. All right, let's do one more question tonight. You guys are great tonight. Appreciate all your comments. Mr. Burns, have you ever had a pollen flow in December? We're having one right now. John, do you live in Illinois? Let's see, December. No, I've never had a pollen flow in December because we have our first major hard freezes in October. So that kills everything that could have pollen in it. And so we don't have any kind of nectar or pollen flows in December. There have been times when we've seen bees bring in things like on a warm winter day, they can fly and go get stuff from bird feeders, little crumbs of bird seed or dog food, even sawdust. They'll bring stuff in like that, but not any kind of flowers up here just yet. Well, there you go, everybody. Wow, what a great night on the live stream. Thank you guys for being with us all tonight. And thank you, each one of you, for doing a great job helping with the chat. And you guys love the camaraderie in the chat. I really love to see you guys responding and having fun in the chat. And I do want to thank those of you that have decided to support my channel by being an ambassador, a Beak Squad ambassador, or a Nectar novice. Thank you, because you're allowing me to make more content, to put more effort into my videos by supporting my channel. So I want to thank you guys for doing that as well. And thank all of you for just being great. And I continue to make new videos for you all the time. I'm going to be making a video tomorrow, publishing it tomorrow, on the new mite treatment. Have you heard about the new mite treatment? It is a new mode of action that we've never had before in controlling mites. It is double-stranded RNA, and it may be known to you as the Norora or Vatiscana. But I'm going to be producing a video tomorrow. I'm going to tell you all about it. So be sure and look for that video as well. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight. It's been my pleasure. And I want to thank Sherry and Robbie and Jessica for a great job making it all happen tonight. And you guys take care. I love you to the moon and back, and I'll see you in the next video.